Looks like anyway. All right, ladies and Larrys, welcome back to the channel. Something a little different today. With a backpack on, going in light, and today is about prospecting and not processing. So back here, down here at the creek, and we're gonna do some prospecting down the creek, up and down. Behind me is where we've been getting material from, but what I'm really trying to do is express to you guys is that when you see me on my channel processing material with, like, let's say my high banker or fluid bed sluice or bigger sluice or whatever, I've already prospected that area. It's not like I just go down to some gold bearing body of water and start processing material. I don't do that. I prospect, and that's what this video is about. Finding good areas that hold good spec counts that I can come back to with a bigger piece of equipment. Okay, our forefathers used to prospect, so prospecting and mining are two different things. So I figured I'd just make a video today, since I'm prospecting today with Miss Echo. We're not really processing anything. We have the ability to process a little bit, but nothing too heavy duty. I got my hand dredge in the back too, but all I have is gold pans, a classifier, hand dredge, and of course the adventure sluice. It always comes with me. But I want to check downstream a little bit from where we were at back here. I want to go downstream over here. I want to go down there and work my way back up and hit some of these pockets too, just to kind of see, because this is all bedrock right in here. This is all bedrock, as you can see. And that's the bar we've been working. We know there's gold there still, but we'll test it as well. But what we're doing is we're just looking for new ground. You can see all these shoals and riffles in here and depressions. That all could be holding gold right in here, right? All those shoals and depressions like that easily hold gold down in them. But we'll set up down here below this pool. Generally speaking, you got water like this is running hard, heavy water pressure. As soon as it drops off, that's where the gold will fall out. Anytime you have heavy running water like this, and as soon as the low pressure drops off, like this pool right here, we might vacuum that pool out with a hand dredge just to check it. This pool down in here might be pretty decent to check out as it's running down. Could be collecting right in there. Of course, low pressure zones here. There's kind of a bend or a bar right up here, but we're about where she's headed to, that I really wanted to check out and test pan and see. You can see where the water flooded out over here, and then it bends around right there. I want to check that out, because what it does is it blows all this out and deposits it right there. So maybe you can see we got some bedrock right here, deep pool, but it may be blowing this out right in here. And that's really what I want to check, is to see how well this is blowing out or not, if it's blowing out or not. And then we'll work our way back up to where our gold spot's at. Big down tree, and then it bends around right there. But right in here could potentially be pretty decent. You see where the big cobbles are at. The bag. You can see low pressure zone in here, and it picks back up and bends and curves around. This tree's down, but it cut away this bank right here. What's cut away from here deposited down there. What's blown out of here is generally going to be right in here. But you can see the difference between the bigger stones, all these bigger stones in here, is because that's where the bigger gold's going to be. Then it blows out into lighter, finer stuff down the creek. But I want to check the front side of this, get down in here, and let's see if we can just do a little prospecting, see what we find. Look at this one with the zoomies. The zoomies. You funning in the creek? There she goes. There she goes. What, you found a stick? You found a stick? Crazy dog. Calamity Jane. GoPro. All right, gang. So, because today's different and this is a prospecting video, I wanted to make sure you guys understand that prospecting and processing are two different things. Mining, processing versus prospecting. Prospecting, years ago, the old timers used to come out on their mule with their pans and their shovels. They would search for gold, find gold bearing areas, and then relay that information to the miners, and the miners would come in behind them, blow the area out for gold. We do that on a scalable micro scale as hobby miners, if you want to call us that, hobby prospectors. But prospecting is locating areas that hold gold, not necessarily claiming that gold. We have the process of capturing some of it, yes, but panning and prospecting is super important for success when it comes to finding gold in streams, creeks, rivers, right? You just don't walk out somewhere and start digging in hopes to find gold. You have to prospect. That's why in my video, like I said, when you see me set up with a high banker or fluid bed sluice or my 6-inch sluice, and I'm processing buckets of material, I've already prospected that area, know that there's decent gold speck per pan there. And I test pan regularly while I'm processing. But what I want to cover today is kind of my pan setup and why I use what I use. So I use a couple different pans and they all have different reasons and why I use them. I brought everything. I didn't need to, but I figured this would be a good way to kind of show you guys what I'm crazy train, my thought process. So most people, when it comes to pans, Garrett Super Sluice is pretty much the gold standard. 15-inch pan, amazing pan, absolutely amazing pan, deep riffles, processes a lot of material. Okay, add a classifier to that, classify the material, take your pan it out. This is pretty much the gold standard. My next pan is the SP14 Super Pans by Keen. It's smaller, not as deep, not as big as the 15-inch. Doesn't hold as much material. Pretty much a modern day traditional plastic pan. Then you guys see me with the Gold Claw. This is the standard Gold Claw. They make the little mini one that I have, and then they make even a bigger one that I don't have. So to go through it kind of and to give you guys like an example, generally speaking, for prospecting, I don't like using a great big pan like this. And the reasons why is yes, you can move more material and you can get you can get more shovelfuls in here and classified, and it'll give you a broader scope of the area that you're looking, you know, you're prospecting. The problem is it's so heavy. It holds a lot of material. Okay, this is more what I would consider a processing pan than a prospecting pan. Okay, this is made to process a lot of material. It gets heavy and it'll wear you out. In the forearms it takes, and the muscle it takes to actually prospect with this will wear you out at the end of the day. And energy consumption is everything when it comes to being solo prospectors, solo miners. Come into the little 14-inch, it's better than the Super Sluice. Okay, I've used them, great results, they work, nothing wrong with it. But again, it takes a while to process it down and to see if you're on the gold or not. Remember, we're not here to capture gold, we're here to look for it. We're looking for spots that hold really good gold spec counts so we can come back with our better, bigger equipment and process it out. Then you see me with the Gold Claw. Weird looking pan, people don't understand it, I get it. Anything that's not traditional, people don't like because they don't understand it. Well, the thing with the Gold Claw is the plastic's made out of a different material. Okay, it's a little more rigid, so it's not as soft as your traditional pans are. But the way it's used and how it's used, if it's used correctly, you could pan out material so much more faster than a traditional pan if you understand how to use this correctly. Now, it doesn't hold as much material, of course. You can only basically get about a shovel full in here. But if you get a good spec count per shovel full, you're still on gold. The thing is with this is I can quickly check an area and know if there's gold there or not, and do it quickly and fast. Remember, this is not production, this is checking, this is prospecting, and I utilize this when I am on an area that has gold. And like you saw in my previous videos upstream up there, when I was running the high banker and the sluices and things like that, I'll use this pan periodically just to make sure I'm still on the gold, because you could be on the gold in one spot, 2 feet over, you're digging and there's nothing there. Why spend the energy and process that material if there's just nothing there? So test panning, super important when you're processing material. I just happen to like this kind of pan just to quickly verify that I'm still on the gold, or if I'm looking for gold. But I still utilize, you know, traditional pans as well. Anyway, guys, just wanted to kind of explain my pan setup a little bit to you. Again, just a quarter classifier. But yeah, so we're gonna check this area next. We'll get set up. We'll start digging in here and see what we can find. GoPro. The problem with this area is the bedrock might be so far down that we can't get to it. So that may be an issue. I'll take a sample off the top of here and see, and then keep sampling on my way down and see if we can't find that layer. All right, guys, so we were just at that small bar bend over there. It was mediocre at best, but I want to show you as this water's flowing down through. You see this bedrock bench right here, of course, all these pockets. When you see stuff like this acts as like a riffle, and it's soft enough that you can scrape that down. That's always good to check for gold too, because that acts like a riffle. Any of these pockets, this right in here, this pool right in here at the bottom of there, we have the hand dredge, we can check that out. Suck out some of these pockets. There's one there too, where all this washed down. Some of the drier pockets can be checked. Another pool. Got a big pool right here. There's a big hole. That might be holding something decent too. But you can see how that bedrock, all of this is like riffles in a sluice. That's what'll catch gold, all in pockets like that. All right, gang, got the adventure sluice set up here. Down in this pocket, you can see the bedrock. We're down into that bottom bedrock down there where it's blue. Might follow this back. I'm gonna check up here too. We'll go ahead and classify this up. We'll feed it through the adventure sluice and we'll just run some of this. Not bad, small, but not bad. We can always go back up to where we were at. I just want to work our way up this way. A bunch of plunge pools and stuff. We got it set up and ready to go. All right, I'm gonna get this picked up and get it classified and run through the adventure sluice. Go for it. Shotgun pellet. Shotgun pellet's always good. We're down to the heavies. Doesn't mean there's gold in here though. Yeah, there's some flour in there. Well, gang, we're back to where we started, where it all began. Moved up even more. We got a little bit of color down there, flour. This is the tail end of that bar. You can see the bedrock right here. But we were working this way and then we stopped and moved up. I might take some test pans on this tail end, maybe down in here where these big rocks are at. Take a couple of test pans throughout here and see what we find. Check again where we were high banking at. This has all been worked. This area right here has been worked, but we could move down this way if we want to. It's worth checking. You know, again, it's all about gold concentrations. All of this has been worked in here. This is all decent. Here's where we were doing the high banking and then fluid bed sluicing. But it may be up into this bank up in here and going that way. The creek might have ran this way 100 years ago and it shifted over. Creeks move, so this could be old creek channel bed right here. All right, gang, so I just want to show you at the very top edge there. Very, very fine micro gold, but a lot of speck count. And all I did was at the very tail end right here where this bedrock starts, I just scraped that little bit right there, one pan, one classification, and that much gold, that much flour gold. So that means all throughout this bed right here is full of gold still. That's pretty decent. I would definitely run that through the high banker, and that's just full of flour gold right there. I'm trying to. All right, gang. Got down to the bottom, pulled the pan out of there. At the very top, you can see a decent sized speck right there, pretty decent. And there's a ton of flour gold in there. But we're starting to see more coarse gold as we're coming back this way. But yeah, very, very promising. All right, gang. So back from our little prospecting trip. And sorry for the video cutting out short. Usually I like to make some video on my way out. I ran out of battery in the GoPro. Anybody who owns a GoPro knows. So I ordered extra batteries so that won't happen next time. So we went prospecting of everything in a snuffer bottle, as you guys can see. So just in a smaller scale, I'm gonna dump the snuffer bottle out into a pan. And then I'm going to demagnetize it, and then I'm going to put it on a miller table. We'll clean it up, put it in a vial, dry it out, and we'll see what we look like. A lot of fine gold, and it's talcum powder gold. We're talking stuff so small that the GoPro doesn't even pick it up, and which is a good thing. I don't mind the small gold. Some little bit bigger bits in there too, so that's cool. Going to use my mining magnets demagnetizer. We'll pull as much as we can out. My magnetic pickup from Mr. Kevin Bell, and we'll get the magnetics separated from the black sands and the gold, and we'll finish cleaning up on the miller table. But yeah, you can see those magnetics moving out of there. That's what I like to do. But you can see the gold in there too. See it? So what I did is I took a plastic mud box, cheap mud box, and I drilled some holes in the front of it. I just clamped it on there, so as the runnings are running down here, I'm catching everything in the mud box, and then up at the top I drilled holes so it flows the water back out. So I still have all the tailings from that right there. And then I can check that or run that in a blue bowl or rerun it in here, separate it from the rest of my cons. Get the cap on here, guys. We'll see. Oh yeah, that's not terrible. Not super terrible. You guys can see that. Not too bad for just a panning trip. Nothing crazy, but we did pretty good. And again, like I said, this was not about trying to find a better dime to put down in there for scale. So today's coin is going to be a 1902 Barber silver that I found in New York. 1902. Just, I want to give you guys scale so you can kind of understand how fine some of this is. Just straighten out here. But it's just incredibly fine gold in there. And there's some bigger bits in there too, so it's not like terrible. I mean, it's a spit in a bucket compared to what a lot of other people get. But, you know, for panning, that's not terrible, all things considered. And you could see, I mean, there's just little specks everywhere. A lot of talcum powder, flour gold. But, yeah, it's not too bad. Well, let's get it on. There's a scale, and but this is how fine the gold is there. So, you know, if you just go after the big stuff, the chances are you're going to miss a lot of that small stuff. That adds up. And that's really the key for my area. You know, I don't have the great big chunky stuff, so. But this was just panning, just prospecting. We weren't processing any material or nothing like that. Just panning. What do we got? 0.22. It's not terrible. I mean, for just some panning. A little bit of sluicing with the Adventure Sluice. But, yeah, I mean, just add it right to the pile. It all adds up. But it's not too bad just for exploratory. We know where we're going to go. When we go back there, we're going to... I'll probably bring the mini monster with me, the mini beast. And we'll do some high banking. And we'll get into that gravel bar on that tail end where I started finding decent speck count. And since we have that Jarvine riffle plus the combo mat with a dream mat in there, I can just literally just shovel straight in there, no classification, rock and roll, and really process the material out and get this fine gold along with the chunkies. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. And if you haven't liked, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support, and we'll catch you on the next one.